Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got singer-songwriter Estelle Fox with me. So welcome, Estelle.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I've been listening to some of your music. Your voice is amazing. It's just beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good. It's I was trying to relate it to somebody to figure out, what you sound or who you sound like. And I couldn't really it sounded a little familiar, but I couldn't come up with anybody, but it's very unique. I really, really liked it. Do you have somebody that you think you sound like, or has anybody ever told you sound like somebody?
Some people say that I sound like I have a bit of a Billie Eilish kind of sound.
Yeah.
But I think that the artists that I listen to mainly are like Clairo and Mitski, so those are probably like my biggest inspirations. So I'd like to think that I sound kind of like a mix of them.
Well, yeah, maybe that's it. Is very unique sound, especially the single that's getting ready to come out. But terrific. I absolutely loved it. My wife was a big fan. I'm playing it at the house, kind of listening, and she's like, "Oh, it sounds like something I would listen to." I was like, "I know, it's pretty good."
Tell her I said thank you.
I will. So, tell me a little bit. Let's start here. Tell me a little bit about what got you into music. Why did you want to start making music?
When I was really little, I was obsessed with a bunch of like big pop stars, Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, Kelly Clarkson kind of, and I really just like was inspired by their music, and I thought it was super cool. So I kind of just like told myself from a really young age, I was like, oh, I want to pursue that. And I told my parents, and my mom was like, okay, like we'll get you voice lessons. But then she talked to some of her friends who were opera singers, and they were like, it's really not good to get your daughter singing at such a young age, like her voice isn't developed yet, so you should wait. So I actually ended up starting on piano, but I've wanted to do music for like a very long time, basically as long as I can remember. It's really been like the only thing that I've wanted to do as a career, something involving it, even if it's not being a singer-songwriter.
Well, I will say you're really good on the piano too. I listened to a few videos that you had on YouTube. If you playing piano, it's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really really talented. How young were you when you started playing piano?
Around 6, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty young. I had my mother plays, and she's really talented with it. I tried for a couple of years, and my poor aunt, who was a music teacher, she did her best. Nothing. I was absolutely the worst student. Nothing would stick. I have no musical ability, which is, I'm in one of those families that everybody in the family has a musical ability. I have none. I got none of it.
My teacher, when I was younger, used to say like, "Oh, I used to complain because my hands could never like stretch an octave when I was younger." And my teacher used to always say, "Oh, like don't worry, like your hands will grow," and they actually never did. So, like playing octaves, I played like a lot of classical piano when I was first starting off.
Yeah.
Playing octaves is like necessary for a lot of classical pieces, and I was not ever like, that was always the biggest part. Like the part that I'd have to practice the most was always parts with octaves because my hands are very small. So, but I think that my family isn't really that musical. Neither of my parents played instruments when I came into the house, so they were both kind of confused to why like I wanted to pursue music so bad. They're like, she's not really around it. My mom took piano lessons when she was younger, and my dad never took anything, but they always had instruments in the house, and I think that's why I was interested in it.
Yeah.
We had a keyboard in the house, and my dad had a guitar, but he didn't know how to play, so I was always interested in like learning.
Yeah, maybe that was my problem because my hands, they're fat, but they're not very long. Yeah, see? So, and that's really difficult when you have the octaves to play. They're hard to reach.
Yeah. I mean, I got them now, but
Yeah, that's yeah. Well, you could tell you're really talented with it. Do you play any other instruments?
I play a bit of guitar. I am not the best at it. I took formal lessons for it for probably 2 years, and it was more like rock oriented. And I
Yeah.
was I was I was interested in it, but I kind of like lacked the motivation to be able to like practice and keep up with the two instruments. Just because like I'm really dedicated to singing and piano, mostly because that's what I find like the easiest to write on. And I was like, I don't really know how to write rock songs, and since that's what I was learning, I was kind of like less motivated for it. But I still play it. Definitely still play it like for some songs when I think it's like fits the vibe. One of the songs that I have coming out, I wrote on guitar, and yeah, I like that song a lot. But it's definitely not my strongest instrument.
Yeah. Did you use your dad's guitar?
I initially played it on my dad's guitar, but actually in the studio I used my producer's guitar. So
yeah, very nice. Yeah, very nice. I didn't want your dad's guitar to go to waste. I figured somebody should.
Yeah, I played live with it, so
yeah, okay. Very good. Do you read music or do you play by ear? A little bit of both.
A bit of both. So with the classical piano growing up, obviously I've had to learn how to read a lot of music.
Yeah.
So I'd say that I definitely mostly read music, but I write all my songs, and I never like write anything down. So
yeah,
a bit like both, I would say.
Yeah. So when you're writing or composing songs, do you start with the lyrics, or do you start with the music and then add lyrics to them?
Normally, I start with a melody that I already have lyrics to, and then I'll write lyrics to the rest of like the melody. Yeah. I kind of like when I come up with a song, I kind of already have the melody in my head, and I'll have like the big like climax part vocally, and then I'll like add the lyrics onto it.
Did I see that you've done a little bit of theater?
Yes. In middle school, I was like very, very interested in theater, and I'm still involved in it, but it just became too time consuming this year with everything else that I have going on. So I'm actually a vocal director at my high school, student vocal director.
Oh, nice. So I didn't know there was a student vocal director.
Yeah, it's something that's kind of unique to our school, but I get to work with a lot of our really, really talented actors and actresses. So it's a really rewarding experience for me. I think
that's so neat.
And I think with like having sort of like more of a classical vocal background, I guess I didn't really include that, but yeah, I took like vocal lessons. Obviously, once I reached the age of like my voice being mature enough, I guess.
Yeah.
And having that background, I think, definitely helps me in that position, because I'm able to kind of like introduce that to some of these theater kids that haven't had that experience. So it's really fun.
Yeah, I think that's really neat. So the vocal lessons, do they teach you how to project your voice so that it's stronger, or is it more focused on the different runs and changing the way your voice sounds?
I would say it's focused on a bit of both. It's like really important for like most things vocally, just to maintain that control. So yeah, a lot of it is just like working on like building your range, building your power to project and stuff like that, but also being able to keep that control. Personally, like I started off singing, and I would love belting all the time. Like I was such a belter, and when I was younger, my teacher was like, "Oh, like that's not really the best thing for you to be starting off with your voice." So mostly for me, it's been working on kind of having that control, and like being able to hold back and then have those like impact moments in my music has been like my main priority, kind of.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess I never thought about it, because you hear a lot of younger singers, they're very loud with that, but that's probably hard on your voice when it's still developing.
Yeah, there's I mean, there's definitely like healthy ways to get like the right sound, but it's definitely something that you have to work on in order to have a good perform.
Well, so the singles, and this is your first one, right? The first one that you're putting out is called Crazy, and it comes out next Friday.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah, the 15th, right?
Yeah.
That's so exciting. So tell me about Crazy. What's the song about? You know, what inspired you to write it?
So Crazy was kind of about a bit of a toxic relationship that I had. More of a situationship because it was never official, but it's sort of about how someone can be in a sort of really like I want to say like blinded kind of state when they're in love with someone and kind of excuse a lot of behavior that they wouldn't normally, while kind of letting that person like impact your view of yourself. So in this situation, like I was kind of feeling like they didn't value me, and I was kind of taking it as a reflection of me instead of them. And they kind of made me feel like I was a bit crazy for loving them.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a very mature theme, but I thought you did a really good job with the song, kind of telling that story. You know, it's kind of an emotional song.
Yeah, I would say that a lot of my music, I try to keep it, for the most part, most of my songs sounding a bit more like poppy and energetic, but definitely I like to deal with like more mature and emotional themes in my lyrics. I think that it's a good almost like a therapy for me to be able to like write about everything, because I feel like I can let it go after.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So did you use the song as a way to get out of a relationship, or was the relationship over and then you wrote the song?
It had freshly ended when I wrote the song. And that was actually it was actually like over a year and a half ago now. It's been quite a while because when I recorded it initially, it was the second song that I recorded in the studio, and it was probably like 6 months after, but it's been quite a while. So yeah.
Yeah, that's well, good for you for getting it down on paper. Is that like you write as a kind of therapy for yourself, but is it normally based on things that you've been through, or is it feelings that you have, or you know, what kind of songwriting do you do normally?
I would say that it's mostly based on like feelings that I have. I mean, some of them have been more storytelling kind of songs, but a lot of them have just been like emotionally how I'm feeling and processing things. I think it's good because I think it's something that a lot of people, especially my age, can relate to. Not necessarily like these specific situations, but just dealing with these emotions. And I think that it's important to be able to like kind of put this like mental health stuff out there, because I think a lot of songs are very much like breakup songs, but they're about like how much you hate that person or how bad they are, and they don't really talk about how that person can like impact you. So I think I'm happy with the lyrics and how everything turned out.
Yeah, that's great. And you should be. And you should be. So when this song gets out there, are all your friends going to be, you know, like, I know who this is about?
A lot of my friends already know, to be completely honest, because I've played the song live a few times. So they kind of already picked up on who the song is about. My friends are very supportive. So regardless, they will probably be like, everyone listen to Estelle's new song. Maybe we'll just ignore if the person hears it. We'll just pretend that day.
So I mean, you're really talented, but you know, there's a lot of talented people out there that don't get to work with a producer and someone to help you with the music. How did that come about? How did you team up and find someone that was like, oh yeah, we got to make some music?
So at the beginning of the school year, probably in September, my mom was like, okay, you're 16. Let's get you reaching out to a producer to see if you can work with someone. So she didn't know, because obviously she's not involved in the music industry at all. She's like, I don't even know where you start with that. So she asked a few of her friends, and one of them recommended this producer, Barb Morrison, who is super duper talented. I love Barb. But basically, I had to submit a few recordings to their manager, and the manager, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name, but he basically wrote back pretty much immediately and was like, wow, like these songs are incredible. I can't believe you're so young. And so then we scheduled a time for me to meet with Barb, and we talked about my music, and Barb is just like such a supportive person. It's just been like really a blessing to be able to work with her. I'm sorry, they're non-binary, but it's just been a blessing to work with them. And in the studio, I think that they really like pulled out like the best parts of me, and they've really been able to like show off my voice. So I think being able to work in a studio, obviously and be able to work with like a really good producer, I think obviously it's an expense, and fortunately I had my parents to help me with that. They're really supportive of my career, and eventually I will have to pay them back. I'm definitely in debt to them, but I also think like it is just like reaching out and putting your music out there, because if you're sending it to a bunch of producers, if you're saying like, hey, like who's willing to work with me, eventually you definitely are going to find someone. And fortunately I was able to find someone the first time I did it, but I'm really really thankful for being able to
it's not supposed to be that easy.
Yeah, definitely gonna be some gonna have to face some difficult things at some point in this journey, because my friend's dad, who's actually over right now, he was like, yeah, the music industry is really tough. You get rejected a ton of times, and I mean, obviously I've had rejection in middle school. When I was in the musical, the first year I got cut, and they didn't let me in the cast, and then the next year I played a lead. So it doesn't really make sense. But I think that I'll be willing to definitely like overcome sort of blocks and stuff. But I'm really thankful that I didn't have to with Barb, because Barb is such an incredible person.
Well, I mean, she's worked with some amazingly talented people, so that says a lot that she wanted to work with you. I think that's terrific.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Is Crazy going to be the first of many songs that are coming out? Are you putting out like an EP at some point? What's the plan going forward?
Okay. So after Crazy, I think we're planning on releasing 3 or 4 songs in the following months, and then we're planning on putting out an EP, which will have a couple extra songs on it, and have the full collection on there. So you'll probably see more of that within the next few months.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. So you said you have played some of these live. Do you have plans to do some I don't know about touring, but to play some live shows?
Yeah, I definitely want to play around Easton, Bethlehem, a bit in Allentown, and my music teacher is actually, she knows like a lot of people that have like open mics and performances. So I'm playing an open mic I think next Wednesday somewhere. I don't remember. My music teacher is very involved in it, so she kind of like,
wow, great.
she kind of gets me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely do plan to play a lot in Easton and the Lehigh Valley area, so I'm very excited.
Do you normally does your music, is it mostly just you, or like when you were in studio, did they have like a backup band?
So for music nowadays, they normally don't have like an entire like band. They normally do like a lot of things like electronically. So like all of the drumming was electronic. And I played guitar, and my sound engineer, Jeremy Kinney, he played guitar for one of the songs. But most of it is electronic, so it's not so much that you need like a band. I mean, some people do, and it definitely has a place and a purpose for having that like really really cool acoustic sound. But for my songs, they were recorded like mostly electronically. Live performances, I do plan on playing with the band. I have a lot of really talented friends, and I definitely want to be able to play with them. So I am planning on working with some of them on my songs.
That's exciting. Yeah, that's really great. What made you choose "Crazy" as the debut single?
I think that it's something that a lot of people will like. I think that it's pop, but I also think it's interesting, and I think like lyrically it will give people kind of a taste of who I am without jumping into some of my more dramatic songs. I mean, it's still dramatic, but I would say it's more mainstream pop kind of feel. So I just thought that it would be a good start. It's like a really solid like first song in my opinion. Like it's a good one to put out.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's. I'm excited for you to release it. It's really really good. So the other songs that you are working on to come out, are they similar in style, or are you showcasing different genres or styles with each song?
I would say that some of them are definitely similar in style. I mean, they all pretty much have a sort of pop feel, but there is one that's definitely more like alternative rock vibe, and there's one that's more of like softer um, a softer kind of folky kind of song, and one that's more of like a really dramatic, just like full piano and strings ballad. So they're slightly different. I think they show off a lot of my voice, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. Just being like a fresh artist and newly out there, I wanted to be able to show off a lot of my different abilities in this EP. And I think that we did a really good job of like putting those songs together, but also still keeping a common thread between them, so that they still like work with each other.
Yeah, I think it's really good. Like with "Crazy," it definitely tells a story, so it makes sense that you'd want them to at least connect a little bit as you're releasing them. That's really good. How do you come up with the names for your songs? I'm sure some of them probably is pretty simple, but what inspires you to name a song?
Honestly, naming songs is probably like one of the hardest things for me. It feels like really hard to put like a single word on like this whole like collection of emotions that I write about. I think a lot of the times with pop songs, you'll just see that they pick a word in the song. So with "Crazy," like that's what I did. But with some of my other songs, I haven't done that just because I haven't felt like there's like any like good thing, and I've just named it kind of like how I'm feeling or like a summary of it.
Right.
So I would say that it's a bit unique for both song, but ultimately it just comes down to like what I think will like summarize it, and also something that people can like associate with it.
Yeah.
Emotionally, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. I was curious because I think that's the part I would struggle with, would be coming up with a title that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough, but I'm happy with all of the titles. It took me a while for one of the songs on the EP. It took me a really long time. We were just calling it Untitled the entire time we were recording the studio, and we actually sent it to Randy Merrill, who mastered my songs, and it was still called Untitled. So we finally came up with a title, but it took a long time, and I had to bounce it off of my producer for a while because I was like, I just don't know if that sounds right. Like, but we got there.
Well, yes, I would think sometimes you could name a song, but then you have to kind of like naming a baby. You got to get used to it. It has to, like when you first say it, you're like, I don't know. But then over time, you're like, yeah, that name fits.
Yeah. I mean, I guess to the public, it will probably make sense because they don't know the other names that I've had. But yeah, I definitely think that it's something that I had to get used to with a lot of them. And even now, sometimes I'm like, should I have named that? Like, is there a different name I should have named that? But whatever, sticking with them now.
That's right. No going back now. You got to stay with it. So what's the future hold? Do you plan to continue your education? Are you going to work in music? What are your plans after high school?
After high school, I definitely want to continue music. I plan on going to a conservatory for music. But right now, I'm trying to figure out how I will sort of like manage, because I definitely want to perform a lot. So maybe I might take a gap year and try to perform a lot, just to kind of get that experience before going to conservatory. But definitely a lot of music in my future. Definitely a lot of performing. It's like one of the most rewarding things to me. So I definitely want to keep doing that.
Yeah, that's terrific. What kind of activities do you enjoy outside of music?
I'm really, really into skateboarding right now. I have been for a while. My best friend, actually, he's a cellist, and he competes, and he's obviously planning on like auditioning for conservatories, and he used to skateboard with me all the time, and he used to like play games of skate and like do tricks and stuff. But he's like really, really freaked out because he met someone at a camp that he was at that was like, I used to skateboard, and my friend hurt his wrist, and then he couldn't audition for any conservatories, so he stopped skateboarding with me. So I've kind of been a little out of it, a little unmotivated, but I'm really into skateboarding. I'm also really into like writing and poetry kind of things.
Really?
I think poetry is similar to songwriting, so you can see
the
interest in that. Yeah.
I think those could go hand in hand. Have you thought about putting together like poems for a book?
I think that maybe someday in the distant future, but I don't know if I have enough poems for that yet.
Yet, that's right. Not yet. No, that's really great. I'm amazed at how much you've done already. You're still pretty young, but you've got I don't know. It's a very mature voice. It's beautiful. It's really really talented, and it was fun watching you play the piano too, because that's something I can appreciate because Mom plays, but you're really good with that too. Do you have a genre that at some point you'd like to try outside of the more poppy stuff? Are you going to go at some point and try classical or anything like that?
I'm really interested in jazz, actually. Like,
nice.
I'm a super big fan of like old jazz. So vocally, that's a style that I really want to like become like super comfortable with. And I think at some point in my career, if I'm able to, I'd love to write some jazz songs.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, that's that would be really, really good. You could do the whole the nightclub type of thing where you get to dress up and sing jazz. That'd be awesome. Or you can play piano, I guess.
Maybe
that's pretty. Yeah, maybe both. That's really exciting. Well, Estelle, thank you so much. I'm so excited for the song to come out. So it's called Crazy. Where can people listen to it?
So there will be a pre-save link on my website, estellefoxmusic.com. You can also find me on Instagram or TikTok at estelle.fox. And everything should be on there, so you'll be able to find all of my upcoming music and Crazy on social media.
Yeah. I found you on there pretty easy. Came up. You would like if you put Michael Wall in or Mike Wall, a billion of us. So I was like, I wonder how many Estelle Foxes. But you came right up. You were like the first one. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So the song comes out next Friday, July 15th. And then how long do we have to wait before the next one comes out?
Hopefully a month.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got to give this one time to breathe.
Yeah. There's actually a music video coming out on the 29th. So 2 weeks after the song, there will be a music video, something in between.
Yeah, that's exciting. So have you filmed it already?
Yeah, it's done. I'm really happy with it. It looks awesome. We actually had
go ahead.
We had our family friend who just got out of school for film record it, and I'm so happy because he just doesn't realize like how talented he is. He gives like a great deal on it, but his name's Christian Michio, and I'm really happy with how it came out. So
yeah,
definitely gonna use them for future ones.
Yeah, that's so fun. So is it more you playing, singing, or is it like a video like you're getting to watch what you're singing about?
It's a full it's definitely a video like watching what I'm singing about. It's like a full a storyline.
Yeah, like a story. That's what I was trying to get at.
Some of it's me singing, but we actually have 2 other actors in it who play like the boyfriend and then the boyfriend's new girlfriend kind of thing. And it looks really cool. It definitely represents me feeling crazy in a way.
Yeah, that's so neat. Do you have any thoughts to trying your hand? I know you've done a little bit of theater, but trying your hand at acting at some point.
I think that it's something that I am somewhat interested in, but I also have like no formal training in it, so I don't know how well I do. But if the opportunity came up, I would definitely try it. Yeah.
Well, if you're doing music videos, you're at least getting some experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so exciting. That's so exciting. Well, thank you so much, Estelle. This has been the best. You have to come back when you get more stuff out or you're releasing something new. You got to come back.
Absolutely, I will.
Yeah, this has been great. Really, really talented. Your music was so fun to listen to. My wife does the like the Spotify stuff where she'll have a channel with that, and your music, she was like, well, that would fit right with the stuff that I'm listening to. And I was like, oh, all right. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, Estelle, I guess last thing before I let you go, anything else that this is a lot, but anything else you're working on that we can kind of keep an eye out for?
I would definitely say just follow my Instagram. I post like reels on Instagram of just like songs that I'm playing, like short clips of, just to keep people kind of engaged in my music. And yeah, I would say that I'll probably post on my website. You'll see things for upcoming shows, and I'll post on Instagram for anything. So if you're interested and you're in the Lehigh Valley area or anywhere close and you want to come see me perform, definitely just keep an eye out.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, hold on one second, Estelle. All right, so that is the talented Estelle Fox. Can't wait for you to hear the song. Song's Crazy. Comes out July the 15th, Friday. Her voice is amazing. Just wait till you hear it. You're going to absolutely fall in love. It is so good. I'm sure we'll hear more and more from Estelle going forward. And I was telling her offline, I love how excited she is about her music. She obviously loves doing it. You know, she's very proud of it and excited about it. And that's so good to see and to hear. It was just really good. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I love bringing talented new music to the show. You know, that's so much fun for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one and that you'll check out Estelle's music. You won't regret it. Promise. If you haven't done so yet, we're still looking for help with our YouTube channel, MeisterCon Pod. If you enjoyed this interview, please consider subscribing. Would really help us out. We're releasing our 418th episode today, which is I'm shocked at that we've been doing this long enough to get that far. But you guys keep coming back, and it's so appreciated. Definitely don't take that for granted. You can find all 418 episodes and counting on our website, meistercon.com, audio and video. So definitely check that out. There's a fun, geeky blog that Brett writes. It's terrific. It's well written. It's funny. It's insightful. Check that out. If we're doing anything in studio, or if we're going on location, if we're covering a convention, if we're going to see Estelle play live, all that'll be on the website. So definitely check that out, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.